Welcome back to another episode of Let's Face the Facts. I'm your host. My name is David Almeida. I'm an actor in Orlando, Florida, and every week I sit down with an actor or artist friend. We watch an episode of the classic sitcom, The Facts of Life. Then I hit record and we get to talking about the show and anything and everything else it might inspire us to discuss. My guest this week is Ali Flores. Ali and I have worked together at both Sleuth's Mystery Dinner Theater and at a certain major theme park also. He is an accomplished actor of stage and screen. He's got several film credits, including a movie that just came out last year, a Matthew McConaughey movie called The Beach Bum. Ali's also done a lot of commercials. He's worked at pretty much every major theme park in some capacity. He's an improviser, a stand-up comic, and a stand-up teacher, a fellow podcaster. He's everything. And he's also pretty awesome and fun. Now, before we start, two things I wanted to mention. First of all, I'm being told that the episodes on the Roku channel, as well as the ones on Sony Crackle, that they're changing. Some seasons have been pulled, and not everything is available as we had originally thought it was. So it seems like the only place to really rely on having the episodes is still dailymotion.com. So I suggest that's the first place that you go until we get something better from one of the major streaming services. Sadly, this is what we're left with. Secondly, and this is kind of a big, important breakthrough, one of my listeners wrote to me and said, they do tell us how many students go to Eastland. And I was like, what? And it turns out in season 9, episode 23, The Beginning of the End, which is the first half of the 2-part series finale and the hopeful backdoor pilot to continuing the show as Blair being the headmaster at Eastland. In that, when Blair finds out word that Eastland is closing and that she is not going to let it happen without a fight, Andy has a line where he says to her, "That's great, Blair. Anything you can do to keep 200 love bunnies in my zip code would be greatly appreciated." So according to Andy, Eastland has a student body of 200. Does that make sense with everything that we have seen so far? I don't know. But this is a huge breakthrough, and I really want to thank my listener for cluing me in. But unfortunately, I'm not able to because I lost the message. Whoever you are, thank you. Write me a note, identify yourself, and I would love to actually credit you and thank you by name on the show. So apologies that I somehow lost track of that. But I do want to make good and thank you because, as you know, this is a long-standing, deep, big question that has been gnawing at me and I think all of you for some time now. Anyhow, back to this week's show. Ali and I watched Season 4, Episode 12, A Royal Pain, which had an original air date of January 5th, 1983. So, I think we're ready to jump on in. Let's face the facts with Ali Flores. Ladies and gentlemen, live, on tape, on digital recording, straight from Sleuth's Mystery Dinner Theater, appearing this afternoon only, Ali Flores. Yes, the crowd goes wild. Welcome.
Oh, man, I've been wanting to do this for a long time, so I'm really excited.
You mentioned to me a long time ago, like early on, you were like, I want to do this, and I just forgot. I'm just a flake.
It's okay. It's okay.
So
it happens.
I'm glad this last go-round, you commented on something, and you want, I still want to do the show, right? And I'm like, fuck, yes. So I'm glad we arranged it. Well, I suppose I need to say Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Yeah, it is January 2020. Nice. Mm-hmm.
And we just watched the show that broadcast on January 5th of 1983.
Wow.
So it is Happy New Year. What is that, 27 years ago?
Goodness.
Holy shit.
1983. We weren't even born yet.
No, it's 37 years ago. What's my math? 83, we weren't born yet? Oh,
yeah.
Okay. We'll go with that. So without feeling compelled to divulge your age, but I always ask my guests, do you have any history with the show? Did you watch it at any
I did. I watched it, every week, whenever it would come out. Because back then we only had a few shows that were on, and you had to
3 networks.
Yeah, that's it.
Three networks. That's it, kids.
Yeah, you had to. There was no DVR. There was no, hey, let's binge watch the season. You had to wait a week, and I remember this is one of the shows.
Yeah, and VCRs existed, but they cost like $13,000,
and they were 16,000 pounds.
And yes, and the tapes I think were $500.
Holy God. Yeah, it was insane.
It was I was thinking about that recently, buying videotapes and being like, okay, I need to copy this movie onto this video. Oh shit, it's only a 2-hour videotape. I need a 3-hour.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll record it at LP. No, the quality goes down there.
Yep.
I mean, these are
all the things we don't have to worry about now.
Important shit. Once upon a time, managing our video library.
Yeah, and you needed a separate house to manage to store all your videotapes because they're so thick. I mean, there's no easy way to store them. It's
I know.
If you have a collection like now, if you look at everybody's digital collections, I mean, people have hundreds, thousands of movies or television shows, all that stuff because they can just
live in the cloud.
Yeah, live in the cloud. And if we did that, you'd need another house.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. I just was looking at my DVD collection now, and I'm going, this is good. It's been whittled down over the years to my mostest favoritist. Can't tell you last time I actually took a DVD and actually put it in the machine and watched it. I'm like, no, I got to watch Mrs. Maisel. I got to catch up on Schitt's Creek. I've got all this. What, Mandalorian? This is a thing?
Oh, yeah.
Fuck, I got to watch this too. Now, before we go into the microscopic dissection that I like to do, first I ask my guests, if you would please, Ali, give me just a 1 to 2 sentence quick synopsis of the entire episode, like what you might read in a TV guide. Let's just give a overarching, what did we just watch?
Oh, okay. Wow. Okay. The girls at Eastland discover they have a royal pain that they'd like to keep.
Okay.
Let's try that. Let's try that.
Brevity is the soul of wit. That is beautiful. And did I say the episode's called The Royal Pain? I don't know if I
Oh, is it in it? Is it even in that?
It's called A Royal Pain.
Wow. Okay,
I thought you were quoting the show.
Oh, no, I wasn't.
Oh, you're wicked clever.
I was just thinking I was thinking of Royal Pain in the Ass.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're absolutely right. Yeah. I think we're ready to jump in. Are you ready to do this?
I'm ready to jump in.
Okay. We start the beginning of the episode in the cafeteria, and the girls are in their school uniforms, so it is during the school week. And the sort of pre-joke before the plot kicks in, the sort of structure of sitcom writing is we have to have some shit going on and then the real meat of the episode happens. So the shit going on at the beginning of this is Natalie is criticizing Tootie and is very annoyed because Tootie has decided to, with the drama club, put on a musical production of Oedipus Rex.
Which I loved. I love that idea.
I feel like someone might have done that, but
have they done it?
There's got to be an opera.
But for school, like
for a high school, no.
And it's an all-girls school, so it's,
And we've done other musicals, and the question has often come up: who is going to play the boy parts?
Yeah,
and this is not answered. It's like, well, if Oedipus is the main character, who is going to play Oedipus in this?
Yeah, Joe. It would be Joe. It would be Joe. Let's be honest. It'd be Joe.
So, yeah, it's kind of an absurdist thing of, what if a musical version? But then they're trying to execute conversations about it as though it's a real thing. And somehow all of the girls who are still working off their debt by working in the cafeteria,
right?
They're working off this debt. Somehow they have time for all this extracurricular
shit.
Oh,
yeah. So this is the first time I've seen an episode since it left. And the first thing that struck me that I went, aw, nostalgia.
Yep.
The laugh track. The laugh track, just the awkward laugh track. I was like, every show had that. The same people laughing. It's the same laugh track in every episode, every show. I was oh my God.
Here's a funny thing. I have always put forth, so many people have made that same allusion. I personally don't believe there was a laugh track on this show because there have been episodes and times where there are jokes that they come out and just they fall dead. And it's like, well, if they were going to sweeten that, that's what they would have sweetened.
Right.
And to me, the laugh tracks of the late 70s, early 80s, they had a real artificiality about them. that I don't hear here, but
Oh, I do.
so many
in
people.
this episode, I did.
Yeah. So I'm. There are times in my life I've been willing to admit that I'm wrong. I am approaching that point right now. But we have talked about that, comedy was different back then. Like, this was highbrow shit.
Yeah.
This was, we weren't comparing this to Curb Your Enthusiasm and all the cerebral, all the other stuff that's come after it. And the other thing is, I've joked they must have had a hell of a warm-up host.
Oh, yeah, you had to.
Because there are some episodes where they are just like they're laughing too hard at some of the jokes, and then when one doesn't land, it's like the bad note in the orchestra kind of a thing, But anyway, so many people have said that I'm kind of like, I'm like, well, no, I know that it's not a laugh track because I don't think it was. I'm having to confront that it's my own arrogance and assumption that I know everything. I wouldn't be surprised if later in the run they did just go to canned, but I feel like at this point, to me, the responses seem varied enough, but I'm like I said, I'm certainly willing to entertain the possibility I might be wrong. So Joe's beef about this Oedipus Rex musical is that she is trying to come up with a slogan to sell the tickets. Or is it no? Is it Natalie? Natalie is the one struggling with trying to come up with a slogan to sell tickets. And Joe, we have a little callback to an old Joe joke.
Oh.
Where Joe says, don't worry about the tickets. And someone says, well, how will you get the people to come? And Joe just looks back and glares at them and says, they'll come.
Right.
We've had that before with when they were going to have a little party with some wine. They were going to drink. Uh-huh. And it's like, maybe I'll pick up some beer. How are you going to get a hold of beer? I'll get beer.
Right. So she's doing the tough thing.
This tough thing, but the idea that Joe is so resourceful and self-reliant, and we kind of love that about her. Who did you crush on when you were...
Joe. Definitely Joe. Definitely Joe.
You are what I believe society calls a heterosexual. And as I said, many of my friends are straight. I can't condone the lifestyle, but I'm loving the sinner, hating the sin. And most straight guys who have sat across from me when I say, which girl did you crush on? The vast majority, Joe.
Yeah, definitely Joe.
Not the pretty one, Blair.
No. Blair to me, personality-wise, was why I didn't crush on her. Like, I grew up in a very, very poor town. And, so anything with money or snooty, I hated it. It's just an immediate turn off.
Gotcha.
Because the neighboring town for us was Naples. And Naples looked down their noses at
in
our hometown.
Italy. Naples.
Yes, Naples, Italy.
Yeah.
Or Naples, Florida.
Okay.
They looked down on, like, they had more drug use because they had more money than we did, but always in their newspapers it was Immokalee this and Immokalee that, because Immokalee was predominantly Hispanic and African American.
Wow.
It's a migrant farm working community. It's a town.
Gotcha.
So they would always just like do that and look down. So I was like, yeah.
So
don't get me wrong, I do her, but I wouldn't date her. Like, I'd do her, but I wouldn't date her.
It wouldn't do or not date her.
Yeah.
The Ali Flores
But Joe,
story.
I was like, yeah, Joe was I was all about Joe.
Yes. Well, good. I'm glad I thought to ask you that, because that's an ongoing survey. I want to keep going through the course of the show of every straight guy I have on. It's finding out who they
and a little bit Miss Garrett, but we'll get into that.
Oh,
no,
girl. Oh, the curves.
Girl.
Was that your Mrs. Garrett impression?
That's why Mrs. Garrett. Girls.
Everybody on the show is welcome to do their Mrs. Garrett impression, and I love it when it happens organically.
I love Mrs. Garrett.
Yeah, I do too, yes. So the last sort of to this whole thing is, Blair, who is designing the costumes? Like you fucking do when you're Blair Warner. And she says, this is what I want Oedipus to be wearing when he sings, I want a girl just like the girl that married dear old dad. Because when it's 1983, a new year, you are 18 years old in high school, you are referencing songs written by Harry Tilza and William Dillon in 1911 for the vaudeville circuit. Which is when that song and why that song was written. Anyway, just throwing that out there. but that was a joke they could not resist.
Oh, yeah, you have to. It's Oedipus. Come on.
Yeah, and we never hear about him again. Never hear about the show or Oedipus.
Or do you? Because I think they were setting up that there's going to be a family issue coming up.
Okay, but wow.
Yeah.
Couldn't have gone with Eugene O'Neill, or couldn't have gone with...
Nope. Going Oedipus.
Yeah, I'm just going to say, I think they might have overshot that.
But then you don't get the kick-ass joke.
Yeah.
You don't get the joke.
From the middle-aged vaudevillian writers, yes. Anyhow, now, as I said, that was the pre-shit now thrust of the episode.
Right.
Mrs. Garrett comes in wheeling a big, gigantic suitcase, announcing that there is a new student that's just arrived at Eastland. And this new student is named Alexandra. And she does come in. She does kind of make a little bit of an entrance with Mrs. Garrett helping her with her bags. And the actress playing her is Heather McAdam.
Heather McAdam, though, when she grew up, she actually, you don't recognize who she is anymore, like who she is. She's actually now James Earl Jones.
Oh.
So that's why you can't really... a lot of people don't know that. It's not on James Earl Jones's Wikipedia, but I mean, it is on his IMDb.
Yeah, it's when her voice dropped. That was a thing. She looks like she might have grown up to be somebody more famous.
Right.
She's got that perfect, pretty, albeit bland.
Yeah.
Kind of a thing. Like you're kind of like she probably should have grown up to be on Baywatch or something.
Maybe.
Like that.
But see. This is something I was like, when we started getting into the episode, I'm like, oh my God, the acting is so bad.
Yeah. And her in particular.
She was awful.
Yeah, she was bad. Oh, here it is. I'm sorry. She was on the TV series Sisters from 91 to 96. She was a regular on that.
I remember that show.
And then she also has other little appearances here and there, blah, blah, blah. Matlock, Quantum Leap, Beverly Hills 90210, Touched by an Angel, blah, blah, blah. But I knew that there was some sort of a bigger thing in her career than this.
Than the Facts of Life.
Yeah. But clearly her best acting days were still ahead of her.
Thank goodness.
And we'll continue to get into that as we go along. Very quickly, Blair is like, haven't we met? How do I know your face looks familiar? So then we get one of those great sitcom premises. Alex is a new student here at the school, but she hasn't been assigned a room yet.
What?
Wacky. So Mrs. Garrett offered to put her up here in the cafeteria. In that one single room where the four of you are crammed in like death row inmates. And Natalie, sure, stay in our room. And I've asked the question many times when like Cousin Jerry comes over, when other people have come by and they've stayed over and they come from that upstairs. It's like, where do they stay? They have a fucking guest suite that we don't know about? Mrs. Garrett's room is tiny and depressing.
Yes.
So it's that sitcom, over there, something exists and you don't need to worry about it.
I think the upstairs guest room is the one that Chuck from Happy Days, that's where he lives now.
Chuck. And he was there so long, they forgot he existed when Joni and Chachi got married.
Yeah, exactly. Chuck did what? 2 episodes? 2 episodes? I think he went up the stairs and done.
I thought he was in the first season.
No, I think he only had like 2 episodes.
Oh, really?
And he went upstairs and never came down.
Man, I didn't realize that Happy Days was I knew Happy Days was a single camera sitcom at the beginning and then went to a 3-camera with a live audience. But I think it was the first 2 seasons were single camera. Like there were a lot of Happy. I thought it was just maybe a season, if that. But it was, I think, the first 2 full seasons of that, which is can you think of Happy Days without Fonzie entering and the applause of yay, he's always here.
We like him.
I recognize him.
Thank God you got rid of the cardigan, Fonzie. Remember when he wore that?
Oh, geez.
Before the leather jacket?
Yeah, Happy Days is a hot, steaming mess of a show. And as is Laverne and Shirley that came after it. So finally Blair is like, I know where I've seen you. You were in Town and Country magazine. I've seen you in a magazine. Like you were playing tennis or something. And Alex, do they call her Alex yet? I refer to her as Alex. She's mostly called Alexandra, but she does appear in a later episode and they refer to her as Alex. So I'm going to call her Alex. And she says, oh, well, I wasn't really playing tennis. I was just practicing my backhand with Bjorn.
And that's it, just Bjorn.
Bjorn. And, of course, Tootie and Natalie are like, Bjorn Borg? What? And for those who don't know who Bjorn Borg. Bjorn Borg. Yep, I'm suddenly a Swedish chef from
He was huge.
Muppet Show.
He was huge in the 80s.
He was a Swedish tennis player. He was the #1 world tennis player. He was very young. He was a teen sensation. And he helped to propel the popularity of tennis as a sport in the 1970s. He retired at 26 this same year, 83.
Boom.
And he did attempt to come back in the early 90s, and they were not successful.
I do believe that his rival, because I love tennis, and I wish I could still play. Yeah, I used to play a lot. But I believe it was Bjorn and Jimmy Connors a little bit, and McEnroe as well.
Oh, yeah.
They kind of had battles. Yeah.
Yeah, and they were all like, those were the names, the biggest names, and all over. Yeah, in the 70s, tennis was a pop culture-y thing, like playing tennis. And kind of, I guess, what like yoga is now or something. Yeah. It's like,
and also you're skipping over a gold joke.
Oh, please,
because Tootie's the one that Bjorn Borg, and then Natalie goes, "Is there another Bjorn?" Yeah,
so true, so true. So it all finally shakes down. Alexandra is the daughter of Prince Federico of Italy. Everybody loses their shit that she is a princess.
Yes.
Blair is, of course, the only holdout. Blair is like, it's not a big deal. Like,
they don't even have a king.
And honestly, when you think of it, if Eastland is such an exclusive school where snotty rich girls like Blair go, you kind of sense that, is this really the first time anyone?
Yeah, no.
They wouldn't royal lineage.
They would have some. They would if this is an upper class, super preppy type of thing. Yeah, they have celebrity.
Yeah,
family members. And also, what gets me is I don't understand how they didn't realize that she was, a princess of an Italian prince with her amazing Italian accent that she, like, it sounds like she's from Ohio, but you could tell that she's definitely from Italy and is a princess of an Italian.
Yeah, and she has that beautiful, long, flowing, straight, blonde Italian hair.
Yes.
And those beautiful, deep blue Italian eyes.
Here's the thing. I thought that's why they threw in who her mother was.
Bingo.
Her mother was just a stewardess from
Princess Julie
from America.
Yeah.
So I think that's why they're like, you can't do an accent, you can't do this, and you look. Okay, let's write in. We're gonna write in. She has an American, but that doesn't matter if she's the daughter of a prince. She spent her formative years growing up in Italy.
Yeah. So she would speak
have
Italian.
The Italian accent.
Exactly. That's yeah. And they're clearly, for her mother, Princess Julie, they're trying to do like a Princess Grace of Monaco thing, where Grace Kelly, American actress, suddenly became royalty in Europe and all that. So that does happen. And I heard an audible reaction from you when Princess Julie came up in the conversation, and Mrs. Garrett said, "No, it's such a Cinderella story." She's just bubbling over.
What got me is like I had to write down because I was like, oh my God, she got so high pitched. Her voice got higher and higher with every sentence. Like there were dolphins at SeaWorld doing flips for no reason. That's how high pitched she got. And I'm like, oh my God, calm down.
Yeah.
It was just insane.
Yeah. We've talked about how when she's in nurturing mother mode, Charlotte Rae, those are her superpowers. But the comedic choices, particularly in the show as it evolves and she becomes more and more sidelined because the stories are about the girls.
Right.
There's so many more, we need to do stuff with her. We need to include her in this. And then what little she does have to work with, she's always punching and really going over and pointing. You have a visitor. I've got news. And she's always goes just a little too broad.
Yeah.
And she's so naturally funny. She, without question, is a good comedic actress. She's not out of her element. She's just pushing too hard.
Yeah.
And It's frustrating to watch sometimes.
I think it's the style, though, because I was just looking at it, and I don't remember like how the style of sitcoms were back then, but very every actor in the show is very over the top, and there are so many pauses. I was like, you can drive trucks through the dialogue pauses.
Kathy Baker Wood literally said that last week. She said the same thing. You're right. Oh
my God.
You are totally right.
Jump on the lines, people. Let's go.
Pick up your cues.
Yeah,
it's a common note.
I'm like, this is so bad.
Yep, we as actors get that all the time. Pick up your cues.
Yeah.
Which means don't say your lines faster. Just take out the air between the lines. And it
so much
goes so far when you're doing, particularly in comedy. It helps so much. So there are jokes about, this is the closest a Princess Di will ever be, and Blair mentions being glued to the TV set. I'm sure you were too, Alex. And she's like, I didn't get to watch it on TV because I was there. And Blair is really, really not impressed,
not at all,
and not happy that there is this girl who potentially could be snootier, richer, and of higher status than she.
And I wish they would have gone with that as a choice. They should have made her act richer, higher status, because it felt out of place when she tried, like she would do certain things and try to give like a, I'm better than you type of thing. Yeah. And I'm like, no, you're not.
Nope.
You look like you just got off the bus. Which, by the way, costuming should be shot. She should have been wearing something way nicer.
Oh, designer, everything.
Beautiful.
Well, definitely the costuming could have better dictated her higher status. And it even is stated where it's like, okay, it's not what we're not seeing this in the performances or in the costuming. But when the girls are helping Alex take her bags out of the room, Natalie turns to Blair and says, hey, Blair, it's like you said, there's a certain social pecking order, and you're not Big Bird anymore.
Yeah.
And yet, this girl, if the intent was, and this is a good time to take a moment and talk about this, if the intent was to bring in this girl and make her a foil for Blair or a competitor for Blair, not the best casting choice.
No, not at all.
No, Lisa Whelchel is extraordinary and was from minute one in the worst of the shows in the first season. Lisa Whelchel was such a clear standout of extraordinary ability for someone so young. And this, Heather, bless your heart, you're giving it a community college try here. But the fact is, what was really going on here, you may not know, Ali, it's 1983. We're halfway through season 4. By the end of season 4, Blair and Joe have to graduate from high school.
Oh, yeah.
And leave Eastland. They can't keep them there forever. So the original intent was maybe we might be able to spin them off into another show, like a college show, but we need to start thinking about repopulating Eastland and say maybe this could be a rotating roster of students and have Charlotte Rae be the center of gravity there. And we do have Alex in at least one other show. She might even be in a couple others, but before the end of this season, and then by next season, she's gone. It's like next season is when they start Edna's Edibles. They move them all over into the bakery, and
God, I forgot about that.
Yeah, it's disappointing and sad because you're like, wow, they probably looked quite a bit to find this girl, and in their minds, it's like this isn't a one-off. This is a girl we need to know we want to work with and can fit into the show, and could be woven into the tapestry that we already have. And it's like, the main crux of the show is don't run off, stick around, you might like it here. I'm like, or you could go.
Yeah.
I don't find you that appealing
Nope.
or have any particular desire for you to stay. You're contributing not very much, sadly. And that's shitty to say, but, hey.
Yeah.
To criticize something is to care for it. I criticize the facts of life because I care about it. So then we go into the bedroom where they're setting up the sleeping bag for her to stay in. And let you talk about the show. What does Tootie discover in her in her suitcase that is a telling aspect about her personality.
Oh, the pennants.
Yes.
All this. Oh, yeah. Quite a collection of these.
And big name prep schools. I didn't recognize any of them except Groton was one of them.
Yeah, that was one.
And
I think it's from the Awe region, the Awe Groton.
The Awe
region.
Thank you. But basically, it's like, wow, you've gone to a lot of really high-profile schools, and we're more interested in the quantity than the quality of them. And she responds that she's been kicked out of some of the best schools in the country. And they're like, why were you kicked out? And her response is, oh, stuff.
Yeah.
Whew. And that's pretty much it. There is, one of those great illusions when they're like, okay, we got to go down and set up for lunch now. And she's like, to do what? And they're like, well, we cook the food and clean up and feed everybody. And she's like, don't they have people that do that here? And Natalie's like, yeah, us.
Yep. Yeah, we're the people.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I love how she says, what is it? And they add to it too. It's like, you've been kicked out of 4, schools. She goes, oh, well, this year.
Yeah.
But here's the thing that I kept thinking about that. I'm like, yes, your parents have a lot of money. He's a prince in Italy. But after the second one, they don't pay anymore. I'm like, I don't care how much. It's like, no, you're not going to these anymore. It's like, this is...
Yeah, or honey, what's wrong? What's going on? The fact I don't want to be apart from you, my parents, and you don't show me any attention. And this is a cry for attention, which even a Helen Keller could see that's what this is. So it's like, I agree. It's like,
no, that just doesn't ring true.
Yeah. Then we have a scene in the kitchen, and it's simply the girls fighting over who gets to introduce. It's like Tootie and Natalie are still really starstruck. And Mrs. Garrett's focus of this is that Alex has been here, and she clearly hasn't been there that long.
Right.
But it's like, Alex hasn't eaten. I wish she would eat something. She's been traveling this whole day. She just got here. She needs to eat something. And then it cuts to her in the bedroom. Alex has got a gigantic submarine sandwich. We're in Peekskill, New York. They might call it a grinder.
A grinder.
And she is sitting on the bed eating, and next to her is a boy in the bedroom.
Yes.
Of the girls. This boy's name is Greg, we find out. And let's pause and take a moment to talk about Greg.
I have thoughts.
You have thoughts.
On Greg. Another poor casting choice.
Oh, dear.
What I wrote was, really? This is the guy the princess hooks up with?
Yeah.
This schlub of a guy?
Yeah. Other than he looks like he might be part Italian and might remind her of home. That's literally all I can give you.
It's just like, no. There is nothing about this guy that stands out at all.
I counted at least 3, and there were probably more, where he was doing that excessively overnatural acting where he was stammering and repeating his lines, and he was talking like this and saying, well, maybe I'll meet you later at the bus station. He was doing that that overly mechanical, I am going to repeat myself because it sounds more naturalistic and less robotic.
Yeah.
And it's one of those that shit wears very thin. You can deliver a line honestly and say it only once.
And we'll get to it. I'm assuming we're going to get to it when we get to that part. But there's a horrible example of what you're saying right now.
Oh, okay.
That's coming up.
Okay, good. But before we do that, let's talk about the actor, Jimmy Barron. Jimmy Barron had a smattering of tiny roles up until about 1985. Then he had a long period of nothing. And here is the great surprise, Ali. Jimmy Barron is the 6 degrees of facts of life that connects you and me to this TV show.
Okay.
Jimmy Barron was in the 2008 movie Sex Drive in the role of Church Dad.
Wow.
Sex Drive was a road buddy comedy in which our dear friend Michelle Sims played a drunk Amish girl in a memorable cameo performance. She's fucking hilarious in it.
Seth Green directed or wrote it?
I think he produced it or something.
Yeah.
I think he produced, and he did a tiny little role in the Amish country and all that. But Jimmy Barron was in that movie, so due to him, you and I are now connected to the facts of life.
I was connected before that.
How so?
I worked with Kim Fields.
Oh, did you at Nickelodeon?
At Nickelodeon.
When they were here? Okay,
Yep.
well, we're going to talk about your career in just a couple of minutes, so I expect you to include that.
Also, Mrs. Garrett and I hooked up once, but we'll get to that.
Nice. Hot. I want to hear
Holly!
Flores! It means flowers! I love flowers!
I'm coming!
Oh, dear. Anyhow, so the deal is he spent 13 years as a morning host on Atlanta Station 99X as a morning radio show host.
Nice.
Then he left that to host another neighboring station in Atlanta for 2 years. Then he got out of the business altogether, and Jimmy Barron is currently a very high-profile realtor in the Atlanta area.
Good for him.
You can go to his page at realtor.com and find him. And if you're in the Atlanta area and you want to buy a house, you could purchase it with the help of a Facts of Life cast member.
Wow.
So Alex and Greg are commiserating. And he says to her, oh, you think Groton was bad? This is terrible. Now I'm in a military school. It's like jail. And so we have to assume that Stone Military Academy, which was the academy that they tried 2 different backdoor pilots and both failed. But Greg basically says, come with me. I'm getting the fuck out of here. And before she has a chance to respond, or she does kind of say, well, I just got here.
Yeah.
And before she has a chance to respond to him, Tootie comes in and is like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Why is there a boy up here? He can't be here. Get out of here. And this is where Alex says, we ran away from Groton together. And Tootie's like, ran away? You said you got kicked out. And so she's like, ha, ha, ha. But he apparently climbed up the window. So Tootie says, go out the way you came in. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
And so his last words as he looks out and he says, Alex, I'll be at the bus station at midnight. See you, I hope. And then he goes out the window. Did you have any more thoughts on?
No, on that scene, the only thing I didn't, I was like, okay, it's a little much from Tootie. The reaction's a little much.
Yeah.
I don't know that Tootie even doesn't just go, I got to go tell Mrs. Garrett. Because it's not like they've bonded. They haven't bonded at all.
No,
not at all. And so it's like, I don't owe you any loyalty. And you've already admitted that you've been kicked out. You've had 4 things. Like, I don't need that kind of negative energy in my class.
Yeah.
I
see. Yeah.
Hey, Mrs. G, this is what's going on.
Yeah. Or at the very least, Tootie could have said, "What? Boys aren't allowed here. Don't you know that?"
Yeah.
Type of a thing, as opposed to just it being a declarative.
Yeah.
How the fuck do you not understand that a boy is not?
She just got here.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't know if you know this, but boys aren't allowed.
And you're going to be in a heap of trouble. So I suggest we get rid of him, or you're going to get kicked out of Eastland, too. So the final moment is inexplicably, or at least oddly, in spite of the fact that we really have not had any bonding time for Tootie to know whether this girl really does belong here or is an asset, the last words are, Tootie is, no, don't go. We have great times here. You'll see. Mm-hmm. Long close-up of Alex.
And nothing happens on her face. Like, I can understand that if they're doing that and you get to see the action and her contemplating stuff or whatever. But it's just the long, like, oh
dead
my God,
eyes.
Let's go.
Yeah. When are they going to call cut?
I was like, did they not cut it? Like, guys, what's going on?
So that's how we go to commercial. Now, Ali, while we are at commercial, this is where I like to get to know my guests.
Okay.
And expose you to the world, as it were.
I can't do that anymore legally.
I know, I heard. Yeah, I heard. I'm really sorry about that. Ali Flores, where were you born?
I was born in Naples, Florida. Mm-hmm. But I grew up in Immokalee, which is about 30 minutes, I guess, east of Naples.
'Cause Naples is on the west coast, is it not?
So it's about 30 minutes east, right there. Central Florida down south. Technically, I grew up in Southwest Florida.
Yeah, Naples, like from here, is like a 4-hour drive?
Ish, yeah, about 4, because it's about 3 to get to Immokalee.
Yeah.
And then if you keep going on 75, you go down
heading
that
way, as opposed
south,
to down 95 to get to Miami or Fort Lauderdale.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I grew up there, and it's a very, very small town. Like, I mean, Sleuth is bigger than Immokalee. And so,
you had said it was a very poor community.
Oh, yeah, very much
neighboring the rich people of Naples.
Yes. And I think we were voted 4th worst town to live in America, like recently. And I was like, come on, Immokalee, we can get to number one. Let's do this. Slackers.
And then when did you start performing?
Gosh, when I was little. I mean,
you were a kid?
You may have remembered me as Lettuce in the Peter Cottontail story in the 3rd grade.
Okay.
No, I started.
I missed that one because I was working that night.
Yeah. So I started in elementary school, and my first role, I guess, was 5th grade. Me and my buddy Rob Massey were the 2 leads in this Christmas play. I don't even remember what the Christmas play was, but I do remember doing this in that play. This is the only thing I remember is us not doing what you should be. Mm-hmm. But we were kind of like it was supposed to be like covered in soot. It was some kind of thing.
Dickensian street
urchins.
Yes,
kind of like that. Mm-hmm. And we kept sneezing on purpose to see if our hats would fall off and fly off. And we kept doing that to fly the hats off, just messing around. So
And you have upheld that level of professionalism
I have.
Into your adult life.
Yes.
Wow.
So that's when I got bit with the acting bug. So
and then did you study? Did you go to college and study? And what was that?
I was, I did all the theater in high school and stuff, and then I went to junior college in North Florida, it's a place called Chipola. It's in Marianna. It's about an hour northwest of Tallahassee in the Panhandle. I went up there to play baseball.
Oh.
Because unbeknownst to a lot of people, if you look at me, you don't see it, but I'm pretty athletic. Like anything with sports-wise, I'm decent at. I played all the sports when I was growing up. So I went to play baseball, and then I got cast in a play. The Nerd.
Oh, okay.
But I had to stop playing baseball because of that. Like I remember having the meeting with Coach Hughes, and he's like, "Listen, you've made the team. You got a scholarship. You'll probably transfer to a big school, but I don't see anything after that. So because I'm tiny, I don't have a lot of power. Mm-hmm. He's like, you're good. You work hard. You got a great bat. You don't strike out. You hit. You just don't have a lot of power. I'm slow." But I stop everything that comes near me. So I got a good glove.
Yeah.
He goes, so you're saying stick with baseball. So I stopped playing baseball and dedicated to the theater. And then transferred to UCF.
Out here.
BFA,
Beautiful.
Orlando.
It's technically Orlando. I want to say somehow UCF is surrounded by Oviedo.
Yes,
but
yet
it is
still
not
Orlando.
In Oviedo itself.
It's still properly Orlando.
Yeah.
So I went to UCF. I transferred in 95 and was part of the BFA program.
Okay.
There. With Tim Williams and Don.
Mike Marinaccio.
All of us. We had a kick-ass class. Like, it was a good group of people.
Don Fowler, yeah.
So I started working in theme parks, like you do if you're in Orlando. So.
And where did your improv abilities come from? Did you?
That was just me. Like I naturally yes-anded. In high school and growing up, like because I grew up tiny. Like I graduated weighing 119 pounds.
Wow. And how tall are you?
I am 5'6" now, but like at let's say high school, I was so excited that I hit 5 foot.
Oh wow!
And 100 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy. So I was really tiny.
Wow. Okay.
So I developed comedy. I was the funny one, so I didn't get beat up all the time.
Oh sure, yeah.
Like I got in fights a lot growing up, but once I became the funny guy, other people would fight for me.
Oh.
Like, whoa, you can't mess with Ali. I was like their pet.
Oh yeah, no, I get that. And I also know you as a very accomplished stand-up comic as well.
Yes.
Where did stand-up come into this whole path?
I started doing stand-up in junior college. A buddy of mine wanted to do, there was a competition in Panama City, Florida. Coconuts was my first time doing stand-up. And he said, let's go do stand-up. So we did more two-person sketch.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And we won the competition with that. And we won twice, and then he was like, I want to kind of see what happens if we go one-on-one. Mm-hmm. And he got booed off the stage in like 30 seconds, and then I won.
Oh, shit.
So that's when
you're like, see you later, loser.
Yeah. Sorry, Jason. But so that's when I started doing stand-up. But then when I transferred to UCF, they didn't have competitions like that, so I stopped. Mm-hmm. It wasn't until 2009.
Yeah.
I opened the American Idol experience.
Oh, yeah.
At Disney, and I hooked up with some other people that opened the show as well.
Yeah.
Arnie Ellis, Rainey Lawrence, and Sean Klitzner. And so we were all talking comedy, and Rainey's a huge director, theater guy, like an amazing actor. So he had connections at Tampa Bay Performing Arts Center. So he goes, how much time do you have, Ali? I said, maybe 3 minutes. This was back in 1993 when I started doing comedy.
Yeah.
And I was like, that was years ago. I don't have any. He goes, we'll get 15 because we're going to do a show. I already booked a room at Tampa Bay Performing Arts Center. Yep. We're going to do it at TPAC.
And you four did do a lot of stuff together as the Unusual Suspects.
The usual Suspects of Comedy, the Unusual Suspects of Comedy.
Yeah.
And we did shows everywhere, and that's basically that's what I consider my birth as stand-up comedy 10 years ago.
Are you here at Sleuths much anymore these days?
Yeah, every now and then, yeah. I grab a show every couple of weeks or so. Yeah.
We play some of the same roles, so we have the ability to miss each other simply by nature of we wouldn't be here at the same time. But I've always enjoyed performing with you. And
likewise.
And that's it. It's like we started this in 97. So off and on, we've been performing together for 23 years.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And that is insane.
It's crazy.
That is fucking crazy. So thank you for not just doing the show. Thank you for wanting to do the show.
Yeah, I was so excited.
That's always thrilling.
Love it.
And now we need to return to find out what is going to happen with Alex.
Happens?
I'm about
Princess Alex.
I'm about to pee myself. I don't know what's going to happen. So then we come back from commercial in the kitchen, and it's immediately following the previous conversation. And Alex comes down, and it's like, oh, good, you'll have some food. And when you're going to get your school uniform? And she's like, I'll wait till tomorrow. And Tootie's like, no, get your school uniform today. Like, Tootie has, the stakes are so high for Tootie to lock this girl in.
Right.
Why?
I don't know.
We don't know. And it's, anyway. Then Mrs. Garrett comes in. And through a series of wild gesticulating arm movements, informs us that she has just gotten word that Alex's parents are coming for dinner. And Alex is genuinely thrilled. And when she asks, where could I take them? Where's a not-a-spot place where we're not going to be mobbed by the twos of people that know who we are? And Edna says, why don't you take them to Chez Edna? I'm Edna. And it's like, really? And she says, well, why doesn't everybody join us? And Edna does point out, I learned haute cuisine in Paris, which she did in the TV movie The Facts of Life Goes to Paris, which broadcast the previous September.
Wow.
Callback.
Boom.
So it's on. We're going to have this great, elegant dinner here at the cafeteria of the Skull. Next scene, all the preparation and fussing over the dinner table, over the setting, over telling Jo her table manners and all this, how to use soup spoons, how to butter your bread. Finally, we hear the limousine pull up, and in comes not Alex's parents. Who is it?
The assistant.
Yeah.
God, what's his name? I forgot his name.
Alfonso.
Alex
knows him. Clearly, he's been a part of her upbringing. I did notice smartly when he says, oh, I'm sorry, you're disappointed, he does walk over and put his hands on her shoulders.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, that was some good blocking and direction where we understand that they had some sort of a history.
They have that relationship. He's Alfred. He's
totally.
Alfred to her.
Totally.
And, takes care of her and is the comfort because he also knows that they always cancel, they always do this, and he needs to be the comfort. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's played by, he is playing Italian. And he is an English actor named Patrick Horgan. It's weird that he does not... Patty Ho. P-Ho. Yeah, well, it turns out P-Ho does not have a Wikipedia page. Isn't that weird? Even, little bit part actors?
No.
Like when you look up other things that have minute, his name is in red. A red name on Wikipedia is sad. Because he doesn't have a page.
Well, that's okay. He just didn't do much.
He didn't do much, except on a certain soap opera called The Doctors, which ran from 1970 to 1974. He was on 429 episodes, Ali.
So he was a regular. He was there every episode, essentially.
Yeah. I mean, that's a lot of episodes because it's a daily show.
Yep.
5 days a week show, but hopefully he made some bank and saved up his money.
No shit.
But he was Dr. John Morrison on The Doctors.
He was Dr. Drake Ramore.
Regina Phalange.
Yes.
So Alex is really disappointed. He is comforting. She even went and got her uniforms. They had made a fuss about the fact that she looks like a real Eastlander. But we do have one of my mostest favorite things in the world is flirty, Charlotte Rae.
Oh my God! Like I was like, calm down, girl. Like you can hear the moisture in her underpants. Drip, drip, drip. Like, by the way, that's what her vagina sounds like.
Thank you. We know you are experienced and have insider knowledge of that. But the fact is, I've always said her in full-on romantic mode has been kind of like, but her in flirty mode is beautiful.
Oh my God!
So he kisses when Alfonso meets her and kisses her hand. He says, "Oh, a pleasure to meet you, madam." And she's like, "Oh no, the pleasure is mine."
And she even gives him like a "we're gonna bang" look. Like
yeah,
that
and she gives him like the look up and those eyes that look up and down a man like a searchlight, you know. And yes, so the excuse why the parents aren't there is that they were invited to the White House, and Willie Nelson was entertaining.
Yes,
it's like, okay, they get to dine with the Reagans, but Willie Nelson,
come on,
girl, priorities, yeah. Look at you. You're an unappealing new character on a sitcom. Nobody
Willie
wants.
Nelson.
If this was on TV on another channel, people would be flipping the channels to watch.
Even the parents knew you weren't returning.
No.
Like, why are we going to make the trip? Come on.
Oh dear. Anyhow, so they do say, well, why don't you, Alfonso, stay for dinner? Oh, but I couldn't. Oh, but you must.
Oh, and that was a oh,
yeah,
but you must.
She was
like,
undressing him with her eyes, and yeah. And then, of course, we get the final punchline of the scene. Joe puts her arm around him like they're buddies. Okay, Alfie, let's chow down.
Yeah.
There it is.
When does this happen? Because this is what I foreshadowed earlier. The joke with Joe calling, "Are you going to lay an egg?" to Blair.
Oh.
Because
it was earlier.
It's so awful. Like, it's that stammering, but it's bad stammering. It's not.
Okay, that's
Buck.
Yeah.
Buck. It's like.
Yeah, I saw the royal. I didn't watch the Charles and Diana wedding. Earlier, Alex says she didn't watch Charles and Di's wedding. She was there at Buckingham Palace.
That's it. Buckingham
and Blair
Palace.
says, "You were at Buck." And Joe's response is, "I think she's going to lay an egg." Sheboygan, you know, it's like
it was so bad. Like Buck.
Yeah.
Buck. I'm like, no, that's not how stammering works.
No.
You were so what?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's.
Yeah, agreed. So no, that was pretty awful. Yes. So then we have the bedroom scene. Really and truly, nothing happens here other than Alex is sneaking out and Tootie catches her and follows her, and through a series of things, the other girls wake up and go downstairs to get all of them into the cafeteria for the next scene.
Which, by the way, I sat there and go, okay, she looks like Blossom, by the way, with that hat and the outfit.
A knit cap.
Okay, so they had to help her with her luggage, but she's only taking a little handbag?
What the fuck?
Like, really?
What the shit? I agree.
You're just going to leave all that shit. I guess rich people just do that. They're like, you know what? I'll just buy more stuff.
But she travels with all of the pennants from all of the schools that she has abandoned.
I know. Why would you keep them?
Yeah, no, not cool. Only two moments of note, though. One is that because Natalie is sleeping in the sleeping bag on the floor, when Tootie jumps down from the top bunk, she lands on Natalie. So Natalie's like, ow! And so she's like, what are you doing? And Tootie's like, never mind, Natalie. I'm sorry. I forgot you were there. Go back to sleep. And Natalie's line is, I can't. You're standing on my face. See, that is an organic joke. That totally works.
Yes.
There is no sweat or construction about it. It's beautiful. It's pure. And then to get Blair and Joe down there. Oh, by the way, perfect pools of light on each bed in this darkened bedroom.
It's crazy.
It was
also,
like...
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, everyone's face is lit? Nice.
Yeah.
And then who the hell who goes to sleep in those pajamas?
Oh my God.
Who goes to sleep in those pajamas? At least Blair's were fitting. They were satin or silk or whatever they had.
Yeah, they were
Joe had some just like pants and stuff, but But Tootie had like this dress or
like a
whatever,
flannel nightgown,
it was, but it was all the way down to her feet. Like I expected her to go, and I in my kerchief, and that kind of thing. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
who wears this?
Yeah,
no one.
Yeah, it wasn't a nightgown as much as more like a nightshirt, and it didn't go to her feet. She had on striped stockings.
Oh,
all the way up to her knees, so you couldn't see any of her flesh. You couldn't see any of her legs. And it's like,
who dresses you people?
Yeah, agreed. And then in order to so Tootie and Natalie go out, and then Blair and Joe are left, and they've been woken up. And Joe's motivation to get out, to go down there is, what? Are they going down to the kitchen? What? They better not touch the chocolate mousse. I was planning that for breakfast.
Yes.
And this mousse suddenly becomes the most important thing to Joe. And we've never known Joe to be a real food whore. Mm-mm. She's never been an obsessive type of a...
Except for her bike.
Except for her bike, yeah. But it's just, again, odd. So then we end up in the darkened cafeteria, and it's like, what the fuck is going on? And Alex is like, I'm running away. She's going to be going to the bus station to meet Greg and Tootie. You can't keep running away! And it's like, why?
Yeah.
Go. You don't want to be here? Go. Bon voyage.
Peace out.
Yeah, exactly. So she says, well, it's because, my parents. And Blair says, smartly, I have 3 fathers who never show up to anything.
Yeah.
Blair's always talked about the scandal that her mother's been married 3 times. Mm-hmm. And then when Joe does come in the room, she's like, who took the mousse? It's not in the fridge.
Yeah.
Then in comes Mrs. Garrett, and she has an Alka-Seltzer. And she says, they're like, what are you doing here? And she says, I took some of the leftovers to bed and they're not sitting right. And Joe was like, was it the mousse?
You ate my mousse.
Yeah. And Mrs. Garrett says, and the mousse is just sitting there, antlers and all. Oh, that's where that joke was going. There it is. So... Again, one of the smarter lines in it. Mrs. Garrett's like, why is she dressed? What's going on? Why are you all up here? And Mrs. Garrett is like, what are you doing? Why are you up and why is she dressed? And one of the smartest lines and most appropriate character lines. Joe turns to Mrs. Garrett and says, remember how I was when I first got here, always running away from things? She's as bad as I was. Mm-hmm. And it's like 100% true.
Yep.
And good that Joe has that. And Joe does have that much self-knowledge and awareness.
Well, Joe had a story arc. I mean, she's had a character arc.
Agreed.
She's grown.
Yeah, she's the deepest character, and she didn't even show up till season 2.
Right.
So they're like, don't you like it here? Alex says, I got to go. I just have to be someplace where I belong. And Mrs. Garrett says, but people have to get to, and this is Mrs. Garrett's tender moment, but people have to get to know you before they can care about you. And then one of them says, yeah. Basically, she says, yeah, we're down here trying to get you to stay, and we don't even know you, and we don't even know if we care about you. And this woman's got a moose in her stomach. Waka, waka. Yeah. And so she does say something like, well, you guys are kind of fun. And someone says, yeah, and that's after one day. Mm-hmm. And then Mrs. Garrett takes her hand and says, you want to try for 2? Cue the clap track.
Yes.
Cue the everything.
Yeah, it's...
Cue the space work of, we're just going to stand here, pose in a tableau, and enjoy ourselves.
Did she even answer her?
No.
She doesn't answer. Do you want to try for 2?
That's called ambiguity, Ali. That's what deep writers write. We don't know. She going to stay? She going to go? You don't know.
You don't know.
That's deep.
Yeah, like immediately after the credits, she's like, all right, I got to go. Bye.
Yeah,
bye.
Exactly.
I'm out.
And we would have been perfectly okay if she did.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we have come to the end of this. Mm-hmm. Along the way, we've given the writers many notes.
Yes.
That I will send back in my time machine. Anything else you want to add? Any other critique?
No, I just
thoughts?
wanted to tell the story of how I worked with Kim.
That's right. That's right. So, please do.
So I was doing an audience warm-up for Nickelodeon Studios at TV shows that they were doing, and she was directing Gosh, what was she directing? She was directing a show. I don't remember which one. I did so many shows.
And this is when Nickelodeon Studios was an actual working production studio at Universal Orlando.
Yes. So I got to work with her, and one, no one was allowed to call her Tootie. She would flip her shit.
I'm sure.
You couldn't do that. You couldn't do that. Two, she was never rude to me, but holy God.
Oh, no. Really?
Oh, yeah. Pain in the ass to everyone else.
Really?
Just not. Tootie was not nice.
Oh, my.
Oh, yeah. Very, very. She was damn near Blair.
Oh, wow.
And not Blair from Facts of Life. Blair from The Exorcist. It was like she.
And
this
is late '90s, so this is post Living Single. So she'd already had both of her big shows and her fame, and all that. Wow.
Yeah, she was a little terror.
That is so too bad. That's crushing. Wow. Well, the only other thing I ask at this point before we end the show is, quickly, off the top of your head, name a commercial from your childhood. When I say a commercial from your childhood, what do you say?
I say time to make the donuts.
Oh, my God. I loved those commercials. And I love me my dunks.
Yes.
Because it was based out of... I think they're based out of Canton, Massachusetts now, which is actually where my mother grew up.
Oh, no way.
In Canton, because I'm from Massachusetts. But I feel like Dunkin' Donuts started in Stoughton or something like that.
I don't know. Has anyone done that? Has anyone brought that one up?
They have not.
Wow.
It's Quincy. Quincy is where Dunkin' came from. Quincy is south of Boston, not far from Canton and not far from where I grew up in Brockton. So, yeah, Dunkin' Donuts, they've only permeated Central Florida like in the last 5 years or so. I feel like they became really
big. Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
But when I first moved here back in early '90s, they were nothing.
Yeah.
And I left a place, Massachusetts, where there is one on every street corner.
Oh my God.
Every corner of every street in every tiniest town.
Yeah, it was insane.
Oh, I'm going to find some of those on the YouTube. I am going to relish.
Yes.
Doing that search and watching those. That's awesome. Well, Ali, thank you so much for doing this. This has been fun for me. I hope it was everything you hoped it would be.
I had a blast.
Approached me. And I always love when people come back and want to do it again. So I hope I'll have you back and we can do this again soon.
That'd be great. Do you mind if I plug?
Plug something.
Yeah.
My fives of listeners.
Yes.
Your phone will not stop ringing.
Excellent.
Plug something.
Please, have a listen to my podcast. It is called Two Fat Dads Podcast. It is spelled TOO, Fat Dads Podcast. It's me and my buddy Jason Logan. And we just talk about anything and everything, topics, sports, whatever we can. And so have a listen to that. You can listen to that anywhere that you listen to podcasts. We're on there. And
how long have you been doing it?
A little over a year.
Okay.
I guess. We don't do it as often, though. We don't have a lot of episodes. Like, we've got maybe 50, I think, because we only do it. We try to do it every 2 weeks.
Okay.
We're booked a lot, and he's booked a lot, and our producers
that
booked a lot.
That sounds lovely.
So we only do it, and it's probably been about a month and a half since we've done one recently, because of the holidays and everything that's been going on. We haven't been able to get together.
Yeah.
And then I got really, really busy. But yeah, go check that podcast out.
So
sweet.
Ali, thank you again so much. We will see you soon. Smooches and goodbye.
Bye.
And there you have it. That was Ali Flores. So fun, so funny. Always enjoy when I get to spend time with him. Nothing really to add. Post-show at the end here, I think everything that needed to be said was said. So, next week, I'm going to be watching Season 4, Episode 13, called Magnificent Obsession. And I'm going to be joined by another very special guest. That is all for now. Thank you so much for listening to this week's show. And remember, the facts of life are all about you. Let's Face the Facts was produced, written, hosted, and edited by me, David Almeida. My theme song was beautifully arranged and recorded by Ned Wilkinson. Our website is facethefactspod.com. You have to drop the lets. And that's where you can find extra pictures, video, and audio extras from the digital cutting room floor. Follow the show on social media. We're everywhere under the handle Face the Facts Pod. You can become a patron of the show by going to patreon.com/FaceTheFactsPod. And don't forget, go to your favorite podcatchers and subscribe, rate, and review. Tune in again next week for another thrilling episode of Let's Face the Facts.